What is up, YouTube? Welcome to Panfro Games, and today we're covering how to play Snorlax in Pokemon Unite. And before we begin, please subscribe to my channel. I'm trying to hit over 1,000 subscribers and beyond. And also check out my other Pokemon Unite videos as well. So Snorlax is a defender. He is honestly the best defender currently out of the 3 in the game. He can be played in the top or bottom role as an early game support, and he is fantastic at getting your teammates leveled up and setting up kills. He has tons of crowd control between tackle in his early game, and then he has heavy slam, yawn, and block, which are all phenomenal moves and can go into different builds. Snorlax has the ability to steal objectives like Zapdos and Dreadnought, and he's an absolute menace with his ultimate ability. So highly recommend checking out this Pokemon if you haven't picked him up yet. He's only 6,000 coins, and it may say he is a novice difficulty. However, I rank him as an expert Pokemon because his skill cap is so high that he is played in Masters all the time, and there's so many different cool moves you can do, especially with the block meta. So let's dive right into his moveset. Snorlax's ability is Gluttony, and Gluttony increases the effects gained from eating berries. So there's 2 berries in the game right now. There's the Citrus Berry and there's the Movement Berry in center. Citrus Berry is going to be the most important berry for the early game. So when you pick up the Citrus Berry, instead of eating it once, you actually end up eating it twice. So this gives Snorlax great sustain in lane and is actually a really great ability for early game. It does fall off pretty hard in late game because there is no berries to really consume at that time besides the Movement Berry, which most of the time you won't be using anyways. Snorlax's basic attack becomes a boosted attack with every 3rd attack. When this boosted attack hits, it deals damage to nearby opposing Pokemon and decreases their movement speed for a short time. This move is great for locking down Pokemon and making them slow, and helping your top lane partner, bot lane partner, secure kills for you. This also is great just in general for team fights as a Pokemon trying to escape. That 3rd auto attack will really make it so that they can't escape, and then you can lock them down even further with your other crowd control moves. At level 1, Snorlax can pick between Tackle or Rest. Tackle's a 6-second dash. Has the user charge forward belly first, dealing damage when it hits, shoving the first opposing Pokemon it comes in contact with. After this move, the user's next basic attack becomes a boosted attack. So this is Snorlax's engage move in top and bottom lane. It is honestly the strongest early game move in the game, as you get to dash forward pretty quickly and knock up an opponent. And it does really good damage, and your next attack is a boosted attack. So your boosted attack is going to do even more damage and slow them down. So this is great for helping out your lane partner secure kills so they can get stronger. And even Snorlax can secure kills with this move as well, as he does quite a decent amount of good damage, and he has such high endurance that he can really take the punishment and send out a couple of tackles in combat if he needs to. Snorlax's other level 1 move is Rest, which is a 10-second recovery. Has the user fall asleep on the spot and restores HP, blocks the movement of all Pokemon not in the user's team while this move is in effect. So Rest adds tons of sustain to Snorlax's kit, and it's pretty great since you don't need to rely on the goal to recover HP. One of the best ways to use this move is to hide in a bush and recover HP by using Rest. The only downside of using Rest is you are committed to the move, so you cannot cancel it, unlike someone like Slowpoke who has Slack Off, where they can cancel it whenever they would like to. But this move is great because you do recover a lot of HP, so even in the middle of combat, if you're fighting someone, you can start recovering some HP and buy some time for your jungler or your lane partner to come in and assist you. This move also does block your opponent's movement, so if you manage to get behind them and block the goal from them, they'll have to go around you or blink through you with eject button. So this can force the opponent to use some resources and waste time to get back to their goal, so they may actually get demolished by your teammate. At level 6, Snorlax learns a new move to replace Tackle, either Heavy Slam or Flail. Heavy Slam is a 7-second dash. Has the user slam its heavy body down, dealing damage to the opposing Pokemon in the area of effect and throwing them. When you upgrade this move, it does more damage. Heavy Slam is a great way for Snorlax to engage into combat, and personally is a must pick on this character. Heavy Slam allows him to dash instantly to a location and knock up the enemies for a second. He can also use this move to run away as well if you're trying to disengage from a fight. And this move is great for not only starting fights and keep spamming during fights to keep an opponent knocked up in the air so your other teammates can focus them down and take them out, but also great for stealing Pokemon like Dreadnought or Zapdos because it does a lot of damage. It is a really far dash, and it does tons of knockup to the other Pokemon in the area, where you have the ability of just going in, sniping a Dreadnought, and just walking out, and you'll probably survive. Instead of Heavy Slam, you could pick up Flail, which is a 6.5 second buff. Has the user flail about, increasing the user's basic attack damage the lower the user's HP is. When upgraded, the increases the damage of this move. If the user has low HP while using this move, its basic attacks that hit opposing Pokemon will restore the user's HP. So Flail is a big steroid buff for Snorlax. However, the issue is it doesn't really increase Snorlax's movement speed, so he is going to have a hard time engaging with this move instead of having Heavy Slam. So personally, I would never pick Flail, at least in high ranked play in Masters. But I do think it's a fun move that hopefully does get buffed. It does do quite a bit of damage. However, I just don't see why I would pick this up over a move that has a knockup. At level 8, Snorlax can replace Rest with either Block or Yawn. Block is an 11-second hindrance. Has the user spread its arms wide to create a wall and grants it a shield. Prevents opposing Pokemon from passing through the wall and shoves them if they run into it. When upgraded, it reduces the damage the user receives while this move is in effect. So Block may be one of the strongest, if not the strongest move in the entire game. It lets Snorlax put up a wall where he can move left and right, and you get to pick where the wall originally goes. If anyone hits the wall, they bounce off the wall and they are stunned. And if you keep walking into them, they keep bouncing off the wall and they're stunned. So if Snorlax is able to capture someone with the wall and push them into another wall with their wall, they'll be stuck in between two walls and cannot escape, and they'll be stuck there, and that would be a great time for one of your teammates to pick them off. The only downside of Block is that you cannot actually deal damage with Block itself, but you can cancel when you would like to if you would like to do damage. Block is a great move because you can also block opponents off from certain objectives like Zapdos. If you hang out in the middle area and put your shield up, they cannot go through it, and they can only dash through it if they were trying to get it past you, or they'll have to kill you, which is really hard to do because you do take reduced damage. So Snorlax is such a gatekeeper, and funny enough, if you combine Speed X with Block, Snorlax will actually be able to move at a fast speed while using Block, which is maybe a bug at this time, but they have not fixed it yet, so I highly suggest checking that out. Instead of Block, Snorlax can learn Yawn, which is a 12-second hindrance move. Has the user let loose a huge yawn that lulls opposing Pokemon into a sleepy haze, putting opposing Pokemon hit by this move to sleep. Upgrade also decreases the movement speed of opposing Pokemon for a short time when this move hits. So Yawn is a pretty good move, and honestly, you can interchange Block with Yawn. Yawn is an aimable skill shot. However, you can hit multiple Pokemon by using Yawn. So you could go into a team, hit 3 or 5 Pokemon with Yawn, and bam, they'll be all asleep, down for a couple seconds, and then your team can totally take them out. So I think Yawn is really good. I think it's a lot easier to use than Block. Block does require a bit more skillful play. Yawn is a bit easier, but you can miss Yawn, so there is a downside to that. But overall, I think Yawn is really good, and I think you shouldn't be forced to use Block if you don't want to use Block. I think you should experiment what works best between you for Yawn and Block. Snorlax's Unite move is Power Nap, which is a buff. Has the user go to sleep and begin snoring, dealing damage over time to the opposing Pokemon in the area of effect and throwing them. While sleeping, the user becomes immune to hindrances and its HP is continually restored. This Unite move is incredible because it lets you restore your HP. You do damage over time while they're near you, so they're just wasting their time when they hit you. And if you hit your Unite move again in the beginning of the spell, then you get to recast it, flip over, and do more damage, but you regain less HP. For our held item build for Snorlax, we are going to go with Buddy Barrier, Focus Band, and Assault Vest. Ideally, you want all of these at level 20. Buddy Barrier, when the Pokemon uses his Unite move, that Pokemon and the nearby ally Pokemon with the lowest HP are granted a shield equal to 30% of their max HP. This is an incredible item with that boost. Also just raw, flat HP on top of your total HP already. Focus Band, when the Pokemon drops to low HP, then each second for 3 seconds, it recovers 11% of the HP it had lost. This is also another great ability to have on this item, and it has raw increase of defense and special defense, so just overall tankiness for Snorlax. And last but not least, Assault Vest. When the Pokemon is not in combat, it is granted a shield that nullifies special attack damage equal to 12% of its max HP. This also increases the HP and the special defense of Snorlax, so that is great. If you want to replace Assault Vest with something, the one suggestion I have would be switching it for the item Experience Share. While the Pokemon has the fewest EXP on its team, it gains 2 more experience points per second. In addition, when a nearby teammate defeats a wild Pokemon, that teammate gains some EXP as well. Honestly, I prefer Assault Vest, but if you're going in bottom lane, it could be a good idea to pick Experience Share because it is a harder lane to get experience in than top lane. But for top lane, definitely go with Assault Vest. For Snorlax's battle items, the best one is going to be Eject Button, as it lets Snorlax teleport through walls, get some escape from battle easier. However, if you are going to block and you're really feeling confident with that move, the X speed and block combo is fantastic. Just make sure to use X speed right before you use block so it goes off. If you use block and then X speed, you do not get the additional boost to your block walking. So just make sure you do that combo. It's pretty crazy. I don't know if they're going to patch it out or not, but hopefully they don't because it's wonderful. Now that we got the items and moves out of the way, it's time to go over how to play Snorlax in his build overview. So Snorlax in the early game, you want to play him very aggressive. You are setting up kills for your lane partner, and Tackle does good amount of damage, especially resetting for the third auto attack. So you are knocking up an opponent and slowing them. So your goal in this early game phase is to try to get your lane partner leveled up as quickly as possible and take the lane as soon as possible. If you don't take the lane in time by Dreadnought spawn, you want to rotate down to bot lane if you're in the top lane, or if your partner's going to go down as well, then both of you can go down. Because honestly, Snorlax is pretty crucial for securing Dreadnought, as he does have the ability to steal it with Heavy Slam when he reaches level 6. Speaking of level 6, it is imperative to pick Heavy Slam. It is so much better than Flail. It has the ability to snipe Zapdos and Dreadnought. It's great for team fights. Absolutely can decimate a team by jumping in the middle of them and knocking them all up and hoping your other teammates will take care of them. And it does good damage, especially when leveled up. So always take Heavy Slam. If you only want to pick Flail, I suggest doing it in non-ranked matches because it's pretty much a big meme. When Snorlax hits level 8, you'll have to decide between Block and Yawn. And both moves are quite incredible, and I suggest using which one you are more comfortable with. I will say Block does have great overall team synergy and is definitely a better move in competitive play, especially in comp play. However, in solo queue, both Block and Yawn are relatively on the same level because you can't really plan around your team with Block strats. To me, the main difference between Block and Yawn is that Yawn is a bit more offensive, as you're running into the team and trying to get Yawns off and trying to put as many Pokemon to sleep as possible, and then while they're asleep you're doing big damage to them and then resetting them with a Heavy Slam. While Block is you're trying to organize with your team, trying to block in as many opponents as possible and trying to hit them into the walls. So you'll be using Block in the way that you'll try to like walk around the team, get behind them, and then push them into your team, or you'll be blocking your base, and you can be alone defending for a long time with Block because you do have a lot more sustainability as you're taking way less damage because you're holding up the block, especially the leveled up version of Block, which absorbs a ton more HP, which makes Snorlax sort of unkillable. So it is a better move, however, it is much harder to use and be successful with, so I recommend trying out in training mode, testing out Block versus Yawn. And last but not least, you want to use Snorlax's Unite move when he is about to die because it is pretty much a full regen on his HP, so you want to pop it right when you're probably maybe like 10-15% away, and then you'll be able to come back and fight in the fight. And you'll be at full HP with your cooldowns all reset, and you'll be super fast because of the movement speed increase from your Unite move, doing crazy damage. And there we have it. But just one last thing, just remember that as playing as Snorlax, you induce a lot of fear onto your opponents. You are incredibly strong. You do not die easily. You have so many different forms of crowd control. You have a knock up. You can block them into the wall. You can put them to sleep. You have so many great team compositions you can be part of. And he's such a versatile Pokemon. So just remember, when you're playing as Snorlax, you are the one to be afraid of. Don't be afraid of the opponents because you start the engagements and you make the big plays happen. Well guys, thank you so much for watching my Snorlax guide. If you enjoyed the video, please subscribe to my channel, like this video, and check out my other Unite videos. Anyways, I'll catch you guys next time. Peace out.